thanks for joining me. Today we're going to talk about one of my builds. I'm out at the Big 3 Training Center in Daytona Beach, Florida. We're out at the 800-yard tower. I get a lot of questions in my inbox on both Facebook as well as here on YouTube about the parts, about my builds, and all the things that I do in the firearms industry. Now, in previous videos, as well as in a lot of the chats that I participate in, I mentioned how I have a passion for photography and just creating things. Now, assembling these firearms falls in line with that. I'll put these guns together, go out and test them out, but I'll spend more time researching the parts than I do actually assembling and testing. Researching what's going to work well together, what the pros and cons of the different parts are. And I'm getting quite good at putting together functioning firearms. When I say functioning, I'm talking guns that will run reliably. Now, this firearm that you're looking at here, I probably built this one or finished building this one about 8 months ago. Now, this one, I took quite a bit of time assembling the parts for this gun, putting together the gun. And when I say the gun, if shit hits the fan or things get really bad or there's an instance where I need to use a firearm such as this for personal defense, this is the gun that I'm going to. And I put this one together specifically for that need. This is my all-around, go-to-war, training class, beat-up battle rifle. A lot of guys have these different rifles. They name their rifles. I don't name them. I categorize them. This one is a battle rifle. Starting at the front of the gun, we have the VG6 Gamma 556 muzzle brake. And this is a 2-port design. The barrel is a 16-inch Faxon firearms barrel. I'll have more specs and I'll put all of that information down in the description to break down what it is. 1-in-8 twist, Faxon firearms barrel, fantastic barrel for the money, fantastic barrel even if it costs more. As we slide down here to the handguard, now this is a key mod, Midwest Industries 12-inch handguard. Now the reason why this one was used, this is where the gun started. I went with this one because of its lightweight and its usefulness. It's very versatile, but that weight, it's about 8 ounces total. It's key mod, which isn't my preferred method of attaching rails, but it works and it has got the job done so far. Next we have billet upper and lower receiver. Now the lower receiver is from Special Ops Tactical. Special Ops Tactical is here in Florida. They're a local company and I love the work that they put into these guns and their parts. Now I went down there and was able to pick up this lower receiver from them, and like I said, it's a billet receiver, and I don't usually use billet receivers in my build, but I wanted something that I knew was going to be solid, that would be able to take a beating. The upper receiver is from EAC, and again, another strong, very sturdy, very solid part, and they mesh really well together. The upper and lower receiver, they lock in really solid. And yes, there's a little bit of added weight compared to your traditional receiver set, but that extra weight means rigidity, consistency in fire. The optic is a Vortex Crossfire 2, 1-4, and the reason why I went with that one, 1, it's affordable, 2, they have a great warranty, and 3, it just works well. For the money, it's a great clear glass, and it has worked really well for my needs. I don't intend on using this rifle past 300 yards, so the 1-4 really works well. While the 300 is still pushing it just a little bit, most of my engagements will probably be from 200 yards on down. Now, do I really need to explain why I went with a Magpul stock? I doubt it. Everybody knows how strong they are, how well they work, and readily available. And one thing you might see on here that you don't see on a lot of guns is the LaRue riser. Now this cheek riser allows you to charge the charging handle with the stock completely collapsed, because the cheek riser is actually spring loaded. So you can still charge the gun with the riser installed as well as fully collapsed. Now the riser is very affordable for what it is, especially with that name brand behind it, and it has worked really well for me so far. The only issue I have is every once in a while I'll make it move and it'll grab one of my beard hairs and cause me to cry like a baby, and yeah, I don't want to talk about it. The Tapco saw style grip, I put that on there as a test. I wanted to see what this thing felt like. I've seen it on a couple of guns. I see them available all over the place. They're very inexpensive. Midway, eBay, anywhere you look, I was finding them for less than 15 bucks. So I thought, let me give it a shot and see how it feels. Now, it's a very thick grip, and I think that's why I like it. I don't like the really slim, small, tiny grips out there on the market. Now, the Magpul grips, they fit great, but this one was very affordable, readily available, and I wanted to give it a shot. I got it, tried it, fell in love with it, so I threw it on this rifle. Will it stay? Who knows? Now, the one part that's on here, I used this part because I had it available to me It is a Geisley automatic match grade barrel. It's adjustable. It is on this gun because I didn't have any other Geisley triggers available to throw in this gun. But because this gun needs to be able to do a little bit of everything, I thought maybe this trigger would work out well for me. And so far it has. It has worked for my needs. Now I haven't been through a whole lot of classes, but I have been through about 3,000 rounds with this gun, with this trigger installed, and I have never felt the need to change it. Now eventually I will put the Super Tricon in there because that is my preferred trigger out of Geisley. And if you haven't figured it out by watching my channel, I am a huge Geisley fanboy. I've used a lot of other triggers on the market. They work really well. Geisley triggers work really well. One of the big selling points for me is the communication with Geisley, being able to call them, work out issues, get advice on what I should use in my guns. Their customer service for me was a huge selling point, and I'm one of those guys that's quite loyal to good customer service. Not because anybody else provides bad customer service, but because I was so extremely satisfied with the customer service I received from Geisley. I'll probably have to roll in some stock photos or some other photos of the actual bolt carrier group. This is from RCA. I got this bolt carrier group from Steve Making Masterclass here on YouTube, and it has been the best performing bolt carrier group I've had to date. I've had quite a few. This one has gone through quite a few rounds. It's easy to clean up, very easy to keep lube, and I have not had any failures. Now, one thing I've had to change are the rings, but that's something that you need to do on all bolt carrier groups to keep them working and functioning the way that they're intended and designed. Well, this one has worked really well in this EAC upper receiver and worked really well with that barrel. So I'm seeing sub MOA at 100 yards with this gun, and I wasn't expecting to, but I'm not sure why I didn't. I guess because it was one of my builds. I don't usually have a whole lot of high hopes, but as I get more and more experience, as I do more and more of these builds, now this is probably build number 6 or 7, maybe 8 or 9.